Welcome back, friends. I'm the part-time bartender, and tonight we're making a cocktail that's old, but it's really new. I'll explain in a minute, but we're making a Gin Rickey.
This is the channel where we combine the best of the home bar and the pro bar to make easy cocktails at home.
So the Gin Rickey is a classic Washington, D.C. cocktail. It was invented, in fact, by a lobbyist, which makes what could be more classic D.C. than a cocktail being invented by a lobbyist. The lobbyist's name was Joe Rickey, and so they named the drink after him. He would go into a bar, Shoemaker's Bar on E Street. If you know the strip, it's E Street by the National Theater, and they used to call that Rum Row, and it was all, bars. Around the corner was Newspaper Row, and so you got the journalists coming down there, you got politicos coming down there, you got lobbyists. Joe Rickey would drink a bourbon and soda, and one day the bartender said to him, "Hey, why don't you add some lime to that?" And the next thing you know, the Gin Rickey was born. People would come into the bar and say, "I'll have Joe Rickey's cocktail." Obviously, I just said it started with bourbon, but over time, gin became the dominant version of it. And so that's the cocktail. Boy, if you know Washington, D.C. in the summer, it's really hot, it's sticky, it's so humid, but it was even worse in 1880, if you can even imagine, because there was no air conditioning. And so this is a cocktail that's cool and crisp and thirst quenching, but it's also got a little zip to it, and it's got some great flavor to it. I do modify it a bit. But when I was drinking one the other day, it just dawned on me, this is exactly what a hard seltzer is. It's seltzer water and alcohol and some lime flavoring. It's the same exact thing. I do think that a lot of the seltzer companies ferment their own or brew their own, whatever they do, using sugar. I think there might be a legal thing to bring it into stores as kind of like a beer. But the point is, it's the simplest way to make it is to add seltzer water to your drink. And that's what we're gonna do here.
But first, let me ask everybody to like and subscribe, and let's get mixing.
I have my mason jar. I love these jars, especially for these easygoing outdoor cocktails like this. And I will make one or two modifications to the drink. It's not complicated. You don't have to do these, but I think that makes it taste a little better. I do put one cube of sugar in it. I do think it just adds, a little bit of, takes some of the bite off of it. I do like some bite, but even for me, without it, it's a little too much bite. And then in here, I have mint, and I have my lime wedges. I've already taken the juice out of the lime, but it's about 3/4. The recipe calls for half a lime. And if you're really efficient with your lime, I think you get 3/4 of an ounce out of it. I measured it out, and I do have 3/4 exactly right here. And then, so I put the lime juice in with the other stuff, and then I muddle it. I do think the muddler, I would have to say, is the unsung tool of the cocktail bar. This is a great muddler I have. It's a heavy duty one. But a good muddler really is indispensable. And so I think it's really good. Mixing in that mint, which is my addition, and I'm muddling it all in here. And so I think that's a good rendition here. And then, so I'm adding then 2 ounces of gin. I go back and forth between the Tanqueray and the Beefeater. I think both are pretty good mid-price gins. Again, for my base spirit in a cocktail, I always, go for a mid-price drink. So that's the one I'm using here, is Tanqueray. And then to taste, I add in some cubes. I'm putting in 4 cubes I put in there. And then I have my soda stream, so I'm adding in some soda water. You can measure it out and say 4 ounces or, to taste. But I would just give it a nice mix right here, mixing in that all your all your stuff. And boy, I have to say, I mean, I haven't tried it, and I know it's delicious. On a hot day, after twisting some arms of lawmakers, it's really a great, refreshing thing. But honestly, everybody's drinking hard seltzer now. That's what this is. So, let's fight big seltzer. Make it yourself. Don't go out and buy the other stuff. But I think it's really a delicious one. Personally, I think this is the cocktail of the summer for me. I'm traveling to England next week, and I have an English summer cocktail coming up too. It's not a gin and tonic, but it's another good one, and it'll be great to have. So I'm giving you a link here to what the New York Times described as the cocktail of the summer, which is the Dirty Shirley. I've also got a link to my spicy margarita, which is always great in summer. And remember, don't drink alone. Share these cocktails with your friends.